So, Jagex has decided they are going to make a survival game, and because they are the creators of RuneScape, I feel like wearing my dragon helm for this video. If you want to see how I made this dragon helmet, you can also check out my channel, Malonze Productions Cosplay. I have a video of how I made it. It's very small, only 15 subs. You could be number 16 or 17 or 18 or 19. Sub to it. So here's the article right here that Jagex is making an open-world survival game set in RuneScape universe. The soon-to-be-revealed project will be an open-world survival game set in the world of RuneScape and build an Unreal Engine 5. On Tuesday, June 21, Jagex announced 3 new hires that will be working on an upcoming game for the studio. While Jagex has not shared too many details just yet, it did reveal that it is currently developing an undisclosed Unreal Engine 5 open-world survival game within the RuneScape universe. With this upcoming game, Jagex aims to grow the RuneScape franchise into new audiences on desktop and console platforms, which suggests that besides launching on the PC, the studio's next project will be on Xbox, PlayStation, or even Nintendo Switch platforms. In a statement, Jagex CEO Phil Mansell said that the project is soon to be revealed and explained why the company is branching out. With the ongoing success of RuneScape, Old School RuneScape, and the buzz activity for our third-party publishing arm Jagex Partners, is now an ideal time to scale up our new game development teams who are bringing a whole new gameplay and visual experience into the legendary RuneScape universe. Of the 3 new hires announced by Jagex, 2 of them, Gary Arduino and Maddie Harper, previously worked at Ubisoft. Harper has worked on titles such as Watchdog Legions, Rainbow Six Extraction, and will be a senior producer at Jagex, while Arundio, with credits on Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon, will work as a principal technical artist. The 3rd hire, Guilherme Barloy, I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, will work as the associate technical director for this game, and has been involved in titles such as Drive Club and Little Big Planet Karting. I don't know what those 2 games are, but I know what, obviously, these guys are. So yeah. So we're going to be getting a RuneScape survival game. Now, real quick, because I want to speculate on what it could possibly have in this game. I want to quick go over, so if you don't know, Jagex has tried making other games before in the past, and most, if not all of them, except for obviously RuneScape, have failed. I don't think it'll be, hopefully, that is, I don't think it'll be the case with this game, because not only do we have people who have worked on pretty big games, you know, like Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and stuff like that, but they're also going to be bringing this to consoles, which that could open the door for a lot of people who only play console and not PC, right? If that's also the case, there could be a lot of things involved in this that normally you can't do on console. Like, I know that you can play, like, top-down games on console, but I think it's a lot harder to figure it out, especially computer games. So it's got to be developed in a way where it would be easy for consoles and then ported to PC, or, you know, vice versa. Just something that's good for both sides, right? So I don't think, if that's the case, it's going to be a top-down game, you know, isometric. I hope it's not. Look, I love Old School RuneScape, and I'll say that I only play Old School RuneScape. I don't play the 3rd one, the RuneScape 3. But I play the hell out of Old School RuneScape. But even then, that's really the only isometric game I like. I don't like any other isometric game. So I hope that this is an actual, you know, 3rd person, maybe optional 1st person view game. But other than that, like I said, consoles can breathe new life into this. On top of that, you have Unreal 5, so, you know, it's not gonna look like, you know, this right here. I mean, yeah, that's the new RuneScape. Yeah, that's new RuneScape. You know, I'm used to, where's the first picture? I'm used to seeing this, right? You know, this, even though it's a good game, there's two things that pull people away. One, it's the grind, which is understandable. Not many people can handle the grindiness of it. And two, what the biggest thing is the graphics. That's what pretty much turns away a lot of people. I mean, even this right here, it looks better than old school RuneScape, but even this will turn away a lot of people. So if you had something that is, you know, Unreal 5, that's going to, you know, bring in a lot of people. And I know graphics are not everything. Hell, like I said, I play old school RuneScape, but not new RuneScape because I just think it's better. Another thing, I don't think that the game would be, you know, slow to start. I think it's going to have a very strong start, and the reasoning behind that is because it's a known IP. This game is going to take place in the world of RuneScape, the RuneScape universe, so most likely in Gelinor, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, but because it's a known IP, that's already going to get in a lot of people interested to see RuneScape stuff. An example of this is World of Warcraft. You know, that's the MMO. Millions of people who first stepped foot into that game when it first launched were people who played Warcraft, the RTS games, because it's set in the universe, in the world. So that's a good example. Another example is, you know, you have Conan Exiles, even the Conan MMO, I forgot what it's called, but those, you know, are existing, well, I would say IPs, but there's obviously a few games on Conan the Barbarian, but, you know, you have the movies, the original comic books, I think there's novels, too, and, you know, that's a big universe that's been around for God knows how long, since probably, like, oh, crap, like the early 1900s at least, right? So, you know, when comic books was starting to come up, it's a big thing. RuneScape has been around, like, what, over 20 years now. So, people know what it is. Even if they haven't played it, even if they haven't played the newest version or even the oldest version, they know what RuneScape is. Okay, so, now that I got that out of the way, I want to talk about real quick about what I think will be in the game itself. So this is all purely speculation because they haven't yet announced the actual game, any features. This is purely speculation. But, what I wish they could have, so I'm going on this by I'm someone who plays survival games. I mean, yes, I play a little bit of OSRS, and I'll play, like, you know, a little bit of World of Warcraft here and there, and stuff like that, but my main genre that I play are survival games. That's why I'm actually pretty hyped about this. So, going off of my experience from survival games, now, something that most survival games don't regularly have, but I don't think would be hard to implement, would be quest system. Similar to an MMO, right? But I think they could make it more, like, immersive. So, you know, you don't just see the little exclamation mark above their head. They can make it like Skyrim, right? You just happen to walk up and find a quest by talking to someone. But on top of that, I want it in... I'll explain what I mean by this. I don't want it to be 100, 500 quests of gather 10 bear asses, right? I want them to stay in the spirit of old school RuneScape, and I'm talking about old school because I don't have experience playing the new RuneScape, but old school RuneScape, they have, like, I don't remember how many quests, but there's far fewer quests than, like, World of Warcraft, right? Because each quest in RuneScape, you know, they're not 20, go kill this, go collect this. Every single quest, every single one is unique. Some of them are quick, you know, oh, just turn in a pie or something. There you go, quick. Others could take you hours. One took me like a whole day to do, right? But they were all unique. They had steps, they had phases, Now, I think there could be a little something to kind of, like, help it so it's not as you're completely on your own, right? 'Cause most quests in RuneScape, it literally just does not give you any clues to go off of, like, oh gosh, what was it? Like, there was one that you had to make a wig, but it says, go get a wig. Well, how do you get a wig? Well, you had to go find some rope, take it to the rope master, you need to yellow dye, and to make the yellow dye, you have to go collect this item, right? And you had to do all of these steps to make the wig, but it didn't really give you a hint on how to make the wig. Once you figure out it's the rope master, then you figure, okay, I need to bring him rope and I need to bring him dye. But until then, you don't know anything. And there's a lot of quests that are like that. They just give you no hints whatsoever. Now, I'm not telling you to put a big shiny arrow like most games these days. It's like, here, the quest is here, come to this location. I'm not telling you to do that. I absolutely hate that in quests. What I'm saying is, instead of saying, bring a wig, say, you need to find a wig and either have it like, maybe somebody will know, or maybe somebody in this location would know, or maybe I could talk to the rope master, or maybe there's an item in the room where you collect that quest that would give you the hint, like, oh, I got the quest to get a wig. Oh, look, on the table here's an item that says, you know, order from the rope master in Port Sarum or something, right? I don't know, I'm just making bullshit up, but something like that. So, if they were quests, all of them unique, I don't care if they're long or short, just I want them unique, right? And they kind of give you a little nudge so you can have enough clues and context to figure it out yourself, rather than having a big shiny arrow but not having to rely on a website. That would be the perfect mix of questing in this game. The next thing I wanted to talk about is possibly action combat. So, again, all, if not most, survival games have an action combat. Now, that doesn't mean that they're good. Again, almost all survival games is literally like, that's your combat right there. Arc. Arc is the best example. All of your animations. But then you have games like Conan Exiles, where, yeah, the stats of the combat are not that good. I mean, better than Arc, right? But you can actually, like, and you're swinging your sword. You can do combos, in a sense. You got light attack, heavy attack. It feels a lot better to fight in that game than it does in Arc. But I think they could go more with that. If they're going Unreal Engine, I mean, they could make this full action combat. Now, people like to say Souls-like. I like to say Monster Hunter-like, because I feel Monster Hunter has my favorite combat of any video game ever. Especially Monster Hunter World, where it's a little bit more fluid. Yes, I love the other games too, but I feel that it feels better in World, so I'm using that one as an example. But it's very responsive, you know, you have all your attacks, you have to dodge out of the way of attacks, watch the monsters' movement. I don't know if they're going to go that extreme to make it like that, but it would be really cool if they could do that, right? So definitely action combat oriented. It's something more, you know, like I said, reactive. I don't want a bunch of action buttons like an MMO that, you know, you have all these freaking abilities. Just give me a light attack, a heavy attack, and then maybe like a buff or a heal or something, right? Just 4 to 5 options, all that you could put on your button wheel, or you can assign to your right click, left click, something like that. That's not action combat, or action bar. The only thing on your action bar should be whether you want to choose between your pickaxe, your axe, your weapon, your bandages, whatever the hell, because that's how usually survival games work, right? So that's all they should have on there. Just pick between your weapons and so on. Now this is gonna be a little bit wishing of me, but after playing games, like, again, I'm gonna use a lot of examples over again, but games like World of Warcraft, originally, you know, you could only play humans and orcs, and then they transition. Now, depending on the campaign, you know, you play the undead, you play this, and then in World of Warcraft, now you can play all of the races, right? In RuneScape, you know, you only play a human, but the world of Gelinor has a bunch of races. You know, you have humans, dwarves, elves, gnomes, hell, werewolves. I doubt we would be vampires, but there's vampires, ogres, trolls, even though they're, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe that could work, because there are games where you can play ogres, like old EverQuest, right? But it'd be cool if we could play other races besides just human. They exist in the world, let us play as them. It makes sense to me, right? Something that I definitely feel that they will add, because this is kind of like core to RuneScape, is I feel that they're going to add skills. Everyone knows, if you've played RuneScape, you know skills, you know, your woodworking, hunting, attack, all that stuff, right? Now, I have no issue if they want to add skills that you can level up, and because every survival game, you have to level up something, right? Whether it's just your overall level, there's weapon levels sometimes, and you can add your talent points, and that's how you progress and get new items to build. I think a skill system where each individual one progresses you in its own unique way, I think that's completely fine for a survival game. I just want it to be less grindy. RuneScape, the MMO, is meant to keep you playing for hours and hours and hours, right? So it takes you, you know, at the most optimal rate, like an hour per level, but even then, you know, maybe I just don't want to sit there and auto chop trees for 3 hours to get 3 levels, right? So, less grindy, but keep the skills. Something else, real quick, is if it's gonna be skill-based and level-based, well, skills as in, you know, the skills, not your skill, but you know what I mean. I think, so a lot of survival games are starting to do this, right? Where originally in survival games, when you swapped between servers or worlds or whatever, you would have to make a completely new character and start over again. Especially if you wiped a server or anything like that, and then you have to start all over again. Now they're starting to make it where you can save your character or bring your character over completely to a new world. Valheim is the best example of this. You literally can have as many characters as you want. Well, I don't know if there's a cap, but you can make a bunch of different characters, and that individual character can hop worlds willy-nilly, and they take whatever is in their inventory. They can't take everything. Their home base and everything in their base stays there, but they could still bring whatever they're wearing to a new world. You could be in the full, you know, final game armor, the what's it called, the linen, or even the wolf armor, and go and start a fresh server, and you're gonna overpower Eichfear like that. So, I think it's better because then you don't have to start over, and if a friend wants to make their own world, you can hop in and play on their game without having to make a new character. Now, you could still do it if you want to. The option is there. But also, like Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles, I mean, you're going to have to, again, restart your buildings and stuff, but you could still have your character with the same stats. You don't have to re-level them, you just have to re-grind, which is still playing the game, right? You could start Conan Exiles at level 60, but you still... the level doesn't really mean anything other than you can create certain things now, but you still have to gain the material to build it. So you still have to play the game quite a lot to even build anything. So I think being able to save and transfer your character is a must. The next thing is roleplay essentials. So a lot of role-playing games, they try to add it so there's a roleplay aspect to it. Now, it doesn't work in every game, like single-player games, mostly, like Subnautica. They add things that kind of make it, you know, like, oh, make your home and you can have the decorative items and yada yada, but it's like, it's cool to have it to, you know, decorate your base, but unless there's somebody to share it with and to actually roleplay with, it's kind of pointless. So, like, Skyrim. Skyrim is a lovely roleplay game, lots of roleplay things you can do, but after a while, you kind of want to roleplay with somebody, not with yourself. That's why games like Conan Exiles has a big, big roleplay community, because not only do they have a lot of roleplay items, unlike Ark, where all you have is a table and chair, Conan has, you know, all different types of vases, torches, braziers, tons of tables, tons of chairs, curtains, rugs, everything. Plus, they have an active modding community that adds even more stuff, magical items, all these stuff. I've roleplayed for hours on roleplay servers in Conan Exiles. It gets intense, especially with the Pippi mod, and you can create your own quests. Oh man, it gets intense. But yeah, if they make roleplay essentials, that will by default extend the life of your game. If you hit a content drought where the people who only care about PvE and PvP kind of dwindle, they're gonna go leave, play another game while they wait for the next content update patch, role players are gonna stay. You know, you make it good for a role player, they'll stay, they'll log on every day just to roleplay with their friends. So, multiplayer and roleplay and modding. Again, modding, even if you don't roleplay, for PvE and PvPers, breathes fresh life into the game. You know, you can make your own servers, add your own stuff. That will automatically extend the life of your game. Now, back to PvP. PvP, I think should be like how it is in the RuneScape MMO. So, what I mean by that is, a lot of people don't like to PvP, but a lot of people like to PvP. However, people don't want to be forced one way or another. That's why people love the wilderness. Wilderness is an excellent, you know, example of, it's an area that's full open PvP, go nuts. But it's optional. You have to physically walk and click a little, yes, I'm going to enter the wilderness, and you're basically, you know, signing that contract. You're signing your life away at that point and all your gear, right? You go in there, you're gonna get ganked. DKP, boop, dead. You always have that one dude waiting. He's got like, you know, he's level 3, but he's got like the maxed out attack power. He just one-shots you. I think having a wilderness, I'm saying a wilderness because I'm going to get to this in a second, but having a dedicated PvP area in the map is, I think, essential. That's strictly for PvP. Now, again, servers can choose whether they want their server to be full PvP, full PvE, but I think having it where the default setting is the world is PvE, and there's dedicated areas, arenas, wilderness areas, even, you know, a few other areas that are strictly for PvP. I think that's a good middle ground for at least a default setting, with private servers being able to choose whatever they want, right? But for, again, I think that's going to be where they need to go. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is, now this is what I said earlier about the Glanor map. Will we actually be getting a fully fledged, I can never pronounce the name, is it Glanor, Gelinor? I don't actually know how to pronounce the world name, but if we get a full-fledged, Glanor, whatever the fuck it's called, right? If we get a full-fledged RuneScape map, like, are we gonna get that? Or is it gonna go Conan Exiles route and have its own unique map that's just set in the world? Because, you know, the exiled lands are not technically in Hyboria, but it's still in the universe, right? It's probably somewhere else off the maps. So that's another question. Whatever they do, I think I'd be okay. I would love to see HD Unreal Engine Lumbridge. Because, come on, Lumbridge, that's, you know, that's the starting zone, man. Everyone's got their memories in that place. But still, like, I would love to see, you know, fully fledged Varrock, Draenor Manor, oh gosh, the Gnome Tree. Just imagine giant, like, Teldrassil, like, tree there. Now, if they do that, I mean, they have to have more than just, 3 buildings like Lumbridge does. I think they would have to make it like a fully fledged town. Now, Lumbridge is a town, so it's not going to be big, but I think they should make it feel like an actual town, while places like Falador and Varrock, which are actual cities with kings, make them cities, right? So that'd be great. Oh my god, imagine oh god, imagine the vampire area. What's it called? Meyerditch, I think. Oh god, that'd be fucking terrible to go through. But yeah, that's gonna be the last thing I talk about. That's gonna be the news and my predictions or opinions on what the game could possibly have. It says in the near future. It didn't say it in this article that I read today, but I read somewhere that it is highly possible, like not confirmed, but highly possible that the game itself will be announced this summer, because a lot of games are getting trailers and announcements this summer. So, and they said fairly soon, they said probably a 2020 announcement, right? I doubt we're going to see this game for years. Now, it didn't really say how far along they were. I mean, they have new hires, but for them to even say, like, there's gonna be an announcement, it has to be, somewhat into the development in order to show it off. You know what I mean? So, probably soon we're gonna be seeing something, and when we do, I will be covering it, and I cannot wait to play this game. So, please subscribe to me if you want to see more of that. While I do mostly cover World of Warcraft private servers, I am going more into the survival games, because again, the survival games are my passion. Coming up, I'm going to be talking about like Arc 2, probably make a raft video. Conan Exiles is getting a new update that I somehow missed, but I need to talk about it because I just found out about it, even though it was announced like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, anything like that. So please subscribe if you want to see more of that, and thank you for watching.